Hi, and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty, and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the lands and airwaves where this conversation takes place. Land which was never ceded, land where communities came together to eat seasonally, locally, and without exhausting resources. I pay my respects to their elders past, present, and rising. Today I'm talking to Paul Kasten at Deep End Pizza. Paul previously worked in fine dining, but wanted to put down the tweezers and bring rarely found authentic regional American pizza styles to Australia. He opened Deep End Pizza last March in the space formerly occupied by Hammer and Tong, just off Brunswick Street in Fitzroy. And it's been gloriously popular ever since he first opened the doors. Deep End's Detroit, Chicago and New York style pizzas are each made with a different dough, a different oven and different care. The bases are meticulously crafted using a variety of flours, fermentation times, handling techniques and baking temperatures. What I loved about talking to Paul was the many surprises along the way in this conversation. There was a time early on when Paul thought he might like to be a poet and embarked on a university degree to pursue this, before deciding that perhaps that was not the path for him. However, there's much that is poetic in the story of his life thus far. He set up a cookie business at the age of 9 and loved how happy his cookies made people. Then he worked his way up over the years to the role of sous chef and beer director in award-winning farm-to-plate restaurant Wildwood in Portland, Oregon, a job that he loved. Following that venture, he got more into running beer and food matching events and happened to be offered a position as head chef in a pizza restaurant, an idea that did not appeal to him at the time. In an unexpected plot twist, he moved to Melbourne and opened his own pizza joint. There were a few steps in between, and he now loves seeing how happy his pizzas make people. If that's not circular narrative, I'm not sure what is. I'm sure you'll love this chat as much as I did. Okay, so Paul, let's start with how you became a chef. Was that something you always knew you wanted to do?
Oh, boy. Well, actually, my mother was, or is, a very good home cook, and I enjoyed cooking a little, baking cookies and things like that when I was a little kid, and that actually led to my first food business when I was about 9 years old. I baked giant chocolate chip cookies that were sold at a little shop in a touristy area near home.
And where was home?
This was in southeastern Connecticut. So, yep, as a 9-year-old, I was making $16 a week. And,
wow.
Buying all the baseball cards that I wanted. And, do my best not to save all the kinds of things that kids do.
Yeah.
But in terms of actually getting into commercial kitchens, my parents let me take a gap year after high school. So, needing something to do, I got a job as a dishwasher at a local Mexican restaurant. And as 1 year led to 2, they started giving me more and more things to do. And before you know it, I'm a full-time chef.
Yeah. And can you remember what it was that you liked about it that kept you there for the second year and then onwards?
Oh, boy. Well, I think at that age I was probably most drawn to just having an income and some freedom. But, I said I'd always really enjoyed food, so trying to do it as well as I could and make people happy was all that's a nice part of it. But I think so I got to about that second year point, and they started trying to steer me toward a management track. Mm-hmm. I took a look at my boss, who was working about 60 hours a week and just seemed exhausted and miserable all the time, and thought, whoa, I don't want to do that. So went ahead and enrolled in uni. There, I decided, pick another impractical career path. I decided I wanted to be a poet, so went to the University of Iowa, where they've got a fantastic creative writing program, and I suppose as that being my first time, really out and away from home and fully free and whatnot, I didn't take it nearly as seriously as I could have, and I feel like I kind of got out there with a better idea of what I didn't want than what I did, and so I at times did very well in school. Other times, just really lacked the focus and interest, and found myself back in the kitchen out there. That went on for a few years before I decided, well, it's probably time to actually take this seriously.
And what kind of food was it then? So you went from Mexican when you started?
Mexican to Italian, and then to, I guess, what you would call modern American, doing a little bit nicer food, tasting menus, things like that, getting to actually learn some things, which I enjoyed. But, still kind of that old school kitchen experience where working crazy hours for very low pay, and I suppose you're exposed to all the other kind of dark side of the industry at that stage. So the negativity of work, the excessive partying, and all of those things.
And when was that?
That would have been, when I went out there for uni, it would have been 98. So I guess back into the kitchen full time would have been about 2000.
That's sort of the ripe time of the rock and roll years in the kitchen, isn't it? Yeah,
pretty much. Fortunately, I fared better through that than a lot of friends did. But when I decided finally, if I'm going to do this, I should probably buckle down and get serious. Moved back toward the East Coast. Landed just a few hours north of New York City, and got a job at what's the best restaurant in a medium-sized city, very old school steakhousey kind of fine diner. Really good wine program, but that kind of sad, stodgy old 60s style food, lots of béarnaise and giant cuts of meat and things like that.
And was all your training on the job?
Up to this point, yeah. And these guys opened an upscale Italian restaurant, me having some background in that. I went over there, and within a few months, was into my first head chef job.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I was simply completely unprepared for that sort of leadership role at that stage, but we did well enough with the food and kept things turning over without any major disasters.
And how many seats was it?
That would have been probably about 90 seats.
Oh, so it's big.
Yeah, it was fairly good size, and we would do a pretty good turnover there. Yeah.
And were you given a menu to do, or did you have to come up with a menu as well?
Yeah, basically I inherited the menu from the opening chef, and basically slowly made tweaks from there. There were a lot of things that I couldn't touch, things that some favorites they'd brought over from their other place, and some that carried over from the previous restaurant on the site there. They'd been some one of those famous old family Italian places. And after about a year of that, it was time to actually go and get an education in cooking. So went up to Burlington, Vermont, went to the New England Culinary Institute, which at the time was neck and neck with the CIA in terms of top cooking schools. So yeah, I guess there I got to fill in a lot of the blanks and what I'd learned on the job, and really give me a big leg up toward getting into a better place coming out of that.
I think sometimes it can be good to do it that way around, because then you know what you need to know, don't you? So you're going in and you are filling in the blanks, and you're maybe understanding some of those things that you had just been shown and you were doing, whatever. It can be an interesting way to do it.
Oh, yeah. I think in a lot of ways I definitely got more out of that experience than some of the kids coming in at 18 with little to no actual job experience. There was a requirement that they spend X number of months in a restaurant environment before coming over, but 6 months working at a McDonald's or something like that is really going to give you a lot of context for what we were doing.
Yeah.
And certainly as an adult learner, appreciating that I was paying for it makes you take things a little bit more seriously.
And were you doing that at the same time as the job, or did you take a step away?
No, I stepped away from the job.
Yeah.
I was still was working a few days a week at another Italian restaurant up there in Burlington, just have a little bit of spending money. But for the most part, it was just school.
And how long was that course?
That was about 2 years.
Wow, okay.
Actually, for me, it was a year and a half. They let me go through an accelerated version of the program. But that was about 60 hours a week on site, mostly hands-on classes, very little lecture time or anything like that. It was almost all actually doing what you're supposed to be learning rather than taking notes and getting ready for your chance to try. So.
And did that change the kind of venue you then wanted to work in, or did it, or what did that lead to?
Well, I think it definitely gave me a lot more. Gave me the tools to walk into a much more serious kitchen. Feel like I wasn't completely out of my depth, and just the contacts through the school with chefs who had come through that program also give me access to a lot of fairly good places. So that led me to Portland, Oregon, where another nephew alum was the exec at a place called Wildwood. It was a famous old farm-to-table restaurant that won a James Beard Award a few years earlier, and basically one of the real pioneers of that kind of locavore movement up in the Northwest.
Wow. And what was your role there?
Oh, I started out at the at the bottom end of the totem pole, and we don't really go through all the brigade system rankings there, so I would have been called a line cook at the time.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it took me about 2 years to make sous chef, and that's what I was for the next 6 years.
So it must have been a great place to work then, because it's a nice period of time to spend in one place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was another one of those really harsh competitive work environments, but it was also, once you reached a certain point, they gave us a lot of freedom to do what we want. I was able to write my own menus, set up my own events, and they let me. I got to learn a whole lot that way, and the products and the skill of the staff were so good that whether or not everybody got along or just felt completely run down all the time, we all knew that we were doing great work. Happy to be there.
And when you say farm to table, was there a farm there, or?
No, we basically sourced nearly all of the ingredients we would use in anything from produce through to dairy, flours, all of that within about a 200-mile radius of the restaurant. Yeah. So in summers, I would be on the phone with 30, 40 different purveyors on any given week. I'd say, so-and-so's beans are amazing, so-and-so's spinach is amazing. Yeah, we'd have people we used for all these things. Yeah, that definitely teaches you to appreciate both the difference between real quality produce and just the mediocre stuff you see in the supermarkets and whatnot, and also that connection to the people who are growing this stuff is something that I really wish we saw more of here.
Yeah, well, yes, absolutely. And so why did you leave that place?
Oh, boy. Well, little ownership disputes. They've had to shut down in what was it? Early 2014. We got just a few weeks' notice. We're coming up on the restaurant's 20th birthday. And,
goodness.
We're having one of our strongest years ever. And, they... let's see. I can remember exactly how this went. So I believe the chef and general manager both had minority stakes in the restaurant. We're trying to buy out the majority owner, and there was a renegotiation of the lease agreement tied up in all of this, and the owner, old billionaire steel guy, and the landlord absolutely hated each other.
Wow.
And the landlord kept trying to make sure that the owner would benefit as little as possible out of the transfer. And finally, the owner's CFO just threw his hands up in a meeting one day and said, "Nope, that's it." Shut it down.
Wow. Just out of spite in a way.
Essentially. I mean, in the end, aside from losing a place to come and eat once or twice a week, it was no skin off his back. So,
wow. What a shame.
Yeah.
So then that pushed you where?
Oh boy. Well, during that time at Wildwood, I'd started doing a lot of beer and food matching dinners. That's something that nobody in the area had been doing at a high level, and I was a big beer nerd, and we were just kind of came up in a brainstorming session where we were trying to figure out what to do with our private dining areas in the quieter months. So I'd started doing that, and that was a big success, and spiraled to the point where I was doing one of those every month, and being flown down to the Great American Beer Fest every year to cook there. And so after Wildwood closed, it took a few months to actually try to relax and decompress a bit, and then started working on a restaurant project with a local brewery. And we actually got as far as signing a lease on the space, only to run into some issues with city zoning. Basically after a couple of years of setbacks in that process, I decided that if they wanted to do just a smaller, more casual pizza sort of concept. And at the time, given my experience and where I'd been working, I mean, I'd always loved pizza. And, I would have friends over regularly to cook pizzas at home on the weekends, but I didn't really see myself as ever ending up a pizza chef. So I may have turned my nose up at that idea a little bit, and then started exploring other options. I'd looked at maybe going out to Chicago. It's a great dining scene there, and I had a few contacts through my beer work could get me into some good places. But in the meantime, I'd been flown down to Wellington to cook at a beer festival there.
Oh.
With 5 Portland brewers. We were doing beer and food matching seminars at Beervana. And I met the team from Good Beer Week.
Right, okay.
They were all over there just to check out what was happening at Beervana and have a little break of their
Good
own.
New Zealand beer as well, that's right.
Oh, yeah, fantastic stuff over there. So, as I was kind of leaning toward heading to Chicago, I reached out to Good Beer Week here and thought, well, there might be some event stuff that we can get you going on here. Would you be interested in coming down? At the time, really wasn't tied to anything. But, it's like at least an exciting opportunity.
Absolutely. And they obviously leapt at the chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And looked at getting into some regular restaurant work down here. I would need a little bit more than part-time event work to carry me through. Wasn't having a whole lot of luck nailing down a sponsored position, at least while I was still over in the States. So basically I said, what the heck? Gathered all my stuff and flew down.
So when was that?
Started looking for work. That was November 2015.
Wow, okay. Good on you, what an adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And by that stage, had you been here?
No, that was my first trip here.
With all your stuff?
Oh, yeah, well, what I could fit in 5 suitcases.
Wow, and what was your impression when you arrived?
Oh, boy. I think, really, it feels quite a bit like home. No major culture shock, really. To a degree, city's a city, people are people. So, it's like aesthetically it's a little different, but artsy, liberal kind of vibe we get around here is really quite a bit like Portland or Seattle, those kind of places. So.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And so then did you find work?
Oh, yeah, I did. Basically, just in time, I got myself a 457 visa sponsored job. Didn't go too much into that. That turned out to be the only job I've had to quit in 20 years of doing this. But,
a shame.
Yeah. Essentially, I opened a new venue, and everything wasn't going swimmingly with staffing right off the bat. We were I think about twice as busy as we had expected to be, and I was giving them 80, 90 hours a week, and basically nothing was quite enough. So, by the time I'd been reminded how grateful I should be for my sponsorship a couple of times.
Oh, goodness.
But,
it's not a very nice welcome, is it?
Yeah, maintain a little self-respect. I just had to walk away. But, by that time, by that time I had a new relationship here with my still partner, Kate, who wanted to get us on a sponsored visa, or a partnership visa track. yeah, then just started kind of exploring what other work options there were for me here. I think really in a lot of ways, I found a lot of Australian employers just kind of looked at me sideways. They kind of don't really know the places that I've worked in the States, the quality of that, or have these ideas that we just make Mexicans do all of our work for us, things like that. Yeah, I've been told all of these things
how fascinating.
by Australian chefs.
Okay.
And, yeah, eventually after it's a little bit of bouncing around from between jobs, helping some friends out here and there. Finally got into a serious place. I took over the kitchen and hosted dining in Brunswick. So, cute little 60-seater in the back streets off of Sydney Road.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, got to do some nice contemporary food. Back to working with the best of everything, and chefs under me coming from great kitchens all over the world, which was great. I always had good help, and I had people that I was actually learning from as well as.
How great!
Yeah. So that was a great experience.
And when did you have the idea to open Deep End?
Deep End. This really came out of the pandemic.
Right.
I was still on a temporary visa when the first lockdown happened, so I basically, because I didn't qualify for JobKeeper, my job at the time just went away, and didn't get any assistance from the government here, so I had to start living off of my superannuation.
Oh no.
And, all of that fun stuff. So looked at the kind of businesses that were actually still hanging in there and doing okay through the lockdowns. I've always really enjoyed making pizza. Never taken a stab at doing it professionally. So I just ordered some pans from the States and started tinkering in my kitchen at home. And that led to, I suppose, through the first two big lockdowns, basically working toward trying to find a place to pop up and do a casual little Detroit style takeaway thing. So just to kind of test the waters.
And what is the Detroit style?
The Detroit style is that's the little square pizza, light focaccia-like base, crispy cheese around the rim.
And so you did the pop-up and that, so I'm really interested in these different American regional pizzas.
Yeah.
How does that even come about? Like, how does it come about that there is a Detroit style and a New York style and a Chicago style?
Actually, well, look at Detroit style and Chicago style. These are both things that came around pretty early after World War II, both 1940s developments. In the case of Detroit style, owner of a little tavern called Buddy's Rendezvous assigned his wife the task of coming up with some kind of pizza offering because he'd heard about this new pizza thing that all the guys coming back from Europe were excited about. And she had taken some family bread recipe and put it into these blue steel tool trays that were just kind of ubiquitous around Detroit at the time, due to the auto industry being there. And topped them up with pizza stuff, and that's where that came from.
Wow, that's really interesting. And is there a lot of topping, or is the the base is quite high then, is it?
The base is quite high. So it'd be, say, a little more heavily topped than our New York styles, but that's not an outrageous heavy amount. It's not nearly as decadent as the deep dish.
Yes. Okay. So the deep dish is different again.
Okay. Yeah. There's that. Well, obviously in Chicago, also right around that 1946 mark, a place called Pizzeria Uno started up. They decided, for whatever reason, there's actually still a fair bit of debate around exactly who came up with the idea, why they did it, and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, they started building a crust in a deep pan and just piling everything into it. And there was I guess one of the other big ones now. It's called Lou Malnati's. Lou, he was one of the original chefs at Pizzeria Uno, and there's a whole lot of disagreement, I suppose you'd say, there about who came up with what, whose IP, blah blah blah. He claims that the whole thing was his idea, and he left and started his own shop, which is going strong today. Stores all over the place, and in the night, it was somewhere around '74. Two other shops apparently at the same time came up with this great idea to make a new kind of deep dish Chicago pizza called the stuffed pizza.
Oh yes.
Which this is what we serve. It's deeper yet, and really has a second layer of dough, all of the cheese and toppings in between, sauce on the top.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Taking something that's probably an inch or so deep and building it up to something that would fill a deep pie pan.
And is that an individual serving, or because that sounds like it would be pretty big. Just
yeah, our 10-inch size, which doesn't sound like or actually look like a tremendous amount of pizza, actually weighs about 2 kilos and will feed 4 to 6 people, just depending on how hungry everyone is.
Yeah. And then there's the New York style pizza. So that's the thin one, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And that basically evolved in very early 1900s in New York. Recent Italian immigrants are kind of recreating the pizzas they remembered from back home, using local ingredients, different flours, different ovens, and all this kind of stuff led to them basically making a pizza that baked a lot longer at a lower temperature. You get this crispy, evenly brown thing instead of the fluffy, soft Neapolitan slice that everybody knew before that. And I guess in terms of New York pizza, it's kind of important to distinguish between what do you think of as the cheap street slice, which tends to be softer, breadier, greasier, versus what the handful of the really old school shops and the higher quality new guys are doing, which is a fluffier, much crispier, thinner crust, lightly topped, very deeply, evenly brown, not charred as a Neapolitan would at much higher temperatures. It's just something that's aimed more at the quality end of the market than just grab and go kind of work.
So I kind of jumped ahead because you were saying you were doing pop-ups of Detroit-style pizza. So then how did you go from... Obviously that was a roaring success and you thought, let's have more of a challenge and throw in some different bases.
Oh, actually, no, I didn't I didn't actually get all the way to popping up.
Okay.
I got as far as buying a commercial pizza oven, which is still sitting under my the steps in my house. But a really interesting opportunity came up to open the Deeds Brewing tap room. Out in Glen Iris. They basically threw a whole bunch of money into doing a really fancy fit out and wanted a really high quality food experience to go with that, and actually wanting to do high end food and beer was something I was still very interested in. So I had a couple of meetings with those guys, and when they basically gave me carte blanche to do whatever I wanted with the menu, I thought, oh wow, this could be a lot of fun. So basically we're doing fine dining at a brewery, tasting menus, fun little tweezer food, with doing everything the hardest, most labor-intensive way possible.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
It's a small kitchen in there too. I was just there recently, and it's a beautiful place. You know, it's so great to see all the vats and everything, but it's classy as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very small kitchen.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Yeah, I think they were basically. I was the only spot that they could put the kitchen due to something with the loading bay up above. The amount of space that they needed for toilets.
Yeah. Wow.
We became wedged into that little corner, but we would still manage to have, maybe 5 or 6 people working in there at any given time. It was crowded, it was hot, but it was a lot of fun. We had lots of diners come in and say, "Oh wow, we had tasting meticulously last week, and we liked this better. Thank you."
Oh wow, nice.
We definitely got to do some good work and had a lot of fun with it. I told the guys, going in that I've been thinking about doing this pizza thing, and I'll give you a year, but if something comes up, I'm going to have to make a quick exit. So we continued just casually looking around at spaces, and I think it was somewhere around March last year. This one became available.
Okay.
And actually, this was back when it was Hammer and Tong. This was one of my early dates with Kate.
Wow. Of course it is.
In Melbourne.
That's right. I have been here when it was there. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But so the size of the space worked well for us. The location, and it's an easy walk to home.
Perfect.
Just the way it was left, we're fortunate enough to have all of the refrigeration in place and all these things. But we had to do this on a shoestring budget. This is a little family and friends project. So we didn't have the money to do a big refurb, buy a lot of fancy things, and all of that. So looking around, we painted all of these walls ourselves.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So you could probably tell that we made the cushions for the banquettes.
Oh, that is good.
Not quite perfect, but
that's great.
A lot of shopping on Facebook Marketplace. And, all these tables came out of a pizzeria at High Street.
Okay.
Chairs were from a fish and chipper in Geelong. I actually spent more on that pizza oven than basically everything else that we did here combined.
Yeah. So how many ovens have you got?
So yeah, that has 3 separate oven decks, all independently controlled. So one for each style of pizza.
Yeah. And is it hard? Oh, is it hard to? That's a stupid question. Is it hard to manage 3 different styles of pizza? I mean, it's what you do, but how many? So for each style, how many versions are there?
So we're doing 3 Chicago versions, and that we've just kept static since we opened. Don't mess with the classic sort of situation there. In terms of Detroit and New York, I think we're at 7 or 8 options for each of those.
Yeah. And, nice. That's a lot to think about.
Oh yeah, it definitely keeps us busy.
And how big's your kitchen staff?
Right now, got myself and 1 full-timer and a couple of casuals.
Okay.
Actually, and a full-time caterer.
So you're definitely on the tools.
Oh yeah. I'm in there basically nearly every minute that we're open.
Yes. And what was the reception?
Oh boy. The response I think was really better than we could have hoped for. We were absolutely rammed from the get-go. We've got about 58 seats in here, and we're doing 150 or more covers a night. Basically, each night we were open for the first few months, and it carried on at nearly that level almost up to the holidays, 6 months in. So,
Congratulations, that's amazing. And is it what you imagined?
Oh boy, actually, it's kind of made me wonder why I spent so many years trying to impress people with fancy food. Really, just putting a great pizza in front of them, everybody lights up immediately. There's just a lot more smiling and laughter than if we're experienced in a dining room before. So that's been really great.
It's like a full circle to when you were 9 and doing your baking, isn't it? And just the happiness that it gives people. That's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That part's been wonderful.
Yeah. So I guess then, often my final question is, what would your advice be to someone who is thinking of becoming a chef?
Oh boy. Well, first have a serious thought about how much of your time and how fully you want to commit to your work. Obviously, there are kitchen jobs that don't require you to be, I suppose, fully engaged and push every moment of your life, but they're probably not the most gratifying ones either. So if you want to be able to do this well, it's going to take a lot of long, hard physical hours of doing it. You're going to need the drive to just keep learning independently, and a lot of patience.
Yeah. Do you have an outlet for your poetry side?
Oh, I wish. Unfortunately, I became a chef. So,
That was it.
But
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Paul Kasten at Deep End Pizza. You can check out all the pizza fabulousness, including their massive 5-kilogram Chicago deep dish party pie, which is an autumn special. That's on Instagram at Deep End Pizza, all one word. And if you liked what you heard and want to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. You can read the chat at www.conversationwithachef.com. And I would love it if you told my friends, or perhaps your own friends, about my chats. You can, of course, follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts, if you like. Once again, thanks for listening and have a great day.